In recent years, advancements in camera technology and accessible telescopes have made it possible for amateur astronomers to explore the moon in incredible detail. Among these enthusiasts was a man who recently uploaded a video online claiming to have discovered a massive wall-like structure stretching across the lunar surface. The video quickly went viral, captivating the public and sparking debate across social media and astronomy forums. While lunar scientists have yet to confirm or deny the video's findings, the unusual sight has drawn attention to the moon's lesser-known and mysterious topography, raising questions about its origins, potential natural explanations, and the limits of current lunar exploration. The video shows a vast structure that appears to stretch for miles along the moon's surface. As the camera pans, the structure, dubbed the lunar wall by viewers, stands out against the surrounding lunar landscape. Its unusual straight lines and uniform height give it an unnatural appearance, reminiscent of ancient eroded walls found on Earth. The uploader claimed that the feature looked too regular to be natural and speculated that it might be the remnants of a constructed barrier or foundation. Although speculation ranged widely, from extraterrestrial civilizations to secret lunar missions, the intriguing nature of the formation raised curiosity among viewers and enthusiasts alike. The mysterious video spurred discussions about more speculative possibilities, including theories that propose an artificial origin for the wall. Researchers have said that anomalies have been photographed on the moon for decades, fueled by unusual photographs from lunar missions and unexplained formations captured by telescopes. Some theorists believe that the moon may have hosted intelligent life, or that structures left by an unknown civilization could still remain. Supporters of this idea point to specific lunar anomalies, like the so-called lunar spires or domes, which some argue resemble artificial constructs. According to this line of thought, if the wall were indeed artificial, it could be a remnant of an ancient settlement, fortification, or boundary. The video's impact on the public highlights an ongoing fascination with the moon and the mysteries it holds. The moon, our closest celestial neighbor, has been a subject of human curiosity for millennia, inspiring myths, legends, and now, modern-day exploration. Despite multiple missions to the moon, including those that brought back rock samples and images from its surface, vast portions of the moon remain relatively unexplored. Recent plans by NASA and other space agencies to return to the moon are partly motivated by this desire to understand the lunar surface better, with more advanced technology capable of probing deeper and examining these formations with greater precision. In a curious twist, the original website that first hosted the image of the lunar wall has since taken down the link, making it increasingly difficult to locate the initial photograph. As discussions and debates erupted online, many sought to analyze and scrutinize the image themselves. However, it soon became apparent that the image was becoming harder and harder to find. Following the viral wave of attention, numerous websites that had briefly hosted or mirrored the photograph removed it as well, leading some to question why such an intriguing piece of lunar imagery would suddenly be pulled from public access. The sudden disappearance of the image sparked speculation across social media and in online groups. Some users argued that the removal of the image might simply be due to copyright concerns or the website's desire to avoid the influx of traffic and attention. Others, however, saw the removal as a possible indication of something deeper, a reluctance to allow further examination of the structure. Some have suggested that the image was removed at the request of undisclosed sources or organizations, speculating that certain parties might want to limit access to what could be a sensitive or unexplained feature on the moon's surface. These theories, while speculative, gained traction due to the image's rapid disappearance and the absence of any official explanations. As amateur astronomers and curious individuals tried to track down the image on various forums and databases, it became clear that even digital archives and websites typically dedicated to preserving lunar imagery were reluctant or unable to retain the photograph. For those who had viewed the image before its removal, the vanishing act added an additional layer of mystery, as many described feeling as though they had witnessed something unusual that was now being deliberately obscured. As the original photograph became elusive, some dedicated internet sleuths turned to image archives and other independent sources to try to recover copies. Although a few low-resolution screenshots and re-uploads continued to circulate, none seemed to capture the clarity and detail of the original photograph. This gradual erasure of the photograph from the internet led some to document what they had seen, describing the image in detail to others and fueling speculation about its authenticity, origins, and the nature of the alleged lunar wall. The removal of the original image and the subsequent inability to verify its existence has only deepened the intrigue surrounding the lunar wall. The phenomenon is now viewed by some as part of a broader pattern where intriguing, potentially unexplained lunar features, whether genuine anomalies or optical illusions, are met with limited access and sudden restrictions. For those captivated by the mysteries of the moon, the photograph's disappearance serves as both a source of frustration and a reminder of how the unknown often slips away just as it seems within reach. Over the years, astronomers and space enthusiasts alike have been captivated by mysterious photographs of the moon that seem to reveal structures far beyond the realm of natural formations. Among the most intriguing images are those depicting what appear to be large towers, square-shaped buildings, and other geometric anomalies scattered across the lunar surface. Though skeptics often attribute these formations to optical illusions, tricks of light, or geological coincidences, a growing number of researchers argue that these anomalies are real and warrant further investigation. The shapes and regularity of these formations suggest the possibility that the moon may host structures that could be artificial or, at the very least, represent geological processes unlike any observed on Earth. One of the most compelling features that has been documented on the moon is what some call the lunar towers. These formations appear as tall, slender structures that rise above the lunar surface, casting long shadows in photos taken during lunar missions and by telescopic imaging from Earth. The shadows themselves provide clues about the size of these formations, suggesting that some towers could stand hundreds or even thousands of feet tall. If these structures are indeed solid and vertical, as they appear, then they represent a phenomenon unlike anything naturally occurring on the moon, where most known geological structures are formed horizontally due to the lack of tectonic activity. The towering nature of these formations has led some researchers to speculate that they may serve as remnants of ancient architecture or as observation posts, although the exact purpose remains a matter of debate. Another striking category of lunar anomalies includes structures that exhibit square or rectangular shapes, resembling buildings or fortifications. These formations have been documented in photos taken by both Apollo astronauts and, more recently, by high-resolution lunar orbiters. Unlike the irregular and jagged landscape typically seen on the moon, these anomalies display sharp, well-defined angles, suggesting intentional design rather than random geological formations. In one area known as the Lunar City by some enthusiasts, several square-like structures appear grouped together, raising questions about whether they could be the remains of an ancient settlement or outpost. While natural processes such as erosion and impact cratering might explain some irregularities, the precise angles of these buildings make it difficult to dismiss them as purely natural. Some theories propose that these formations are relics of an ancient civilization that may have visited the moon long before humans. Given the moon's stable conditions and lack of atmosphere, structures built on its surface could potentially last for millions of years without significant erosion, allowing ancient constructs to endure. Proponents of this theory argue that the moon's proximity to Earth would make it a logical location for a base of operations or an observation point for any advanced beings who may have visited our planet. Furthermore, with recent discoveries suggesting that water ice exists in some lunar craters, it's conceivable that such a base could sustain life, at least periodically, even with the moon's harsh environmental conditions. Another intriguing piece of evidence supporting the existence of these lunar anomalies comes from photographs taken during various space missions. For instance, the Apollo missions, while bringing back invaluable data and samples from the moon, also captured photographs that show structures unlike any previously documented. In particular, images from Apollo 15 and Apollo 17 show unusual formations with strong shadows and straight edges. Many of these photos have sparked speculation that the astronauts may have encountered more than just rocks and dust on the moon. In some reports, Apollo astronauts allegedly described seeing structures or unusual lights while on the lunar surface, although official transcripts do not document these claims in detail. Such accounts, while unverified, have added to the mystery and fueled theories that NASA may have withheld certain information from the public. Recent lunar missions, such as those conducted by China's Chang'e program, have provided high-resolution images that appear to confirm some of these mysterious formations. In several photos, objects resembling pillars or elongated structures can be seen casting shadows, similar to the lunar towers observed in earlier photographs. Chinese researchers have expressed interest in exploring these regions further, as the formations do not match the typical patterns of impact craters or lava flows. Unlike previous missions, where some data might have been lost or unexplored due to technological limitations, modern probes and rovers could provide a closer look, shedding light on these mysterious formations and determining if they are, in fact, constructed structures or natural anomalies. One argument supporting the artificial nature of these anomalies is their precise geometric patterns. On Earth, such shapes are often the result of intelligent design, as nature rarely produces perfect squares, right angles, or large symmetrical structures without some form of external influence. While the Moon has experienced billions of years of meteor impacts and cosmic radiation, these processes typically create craters, fractures, and irregular ridges. The existence of straight lines, aligned corners, and cylindrical towers suggests that other processes, potentially artificial in origin, could be responsible for their formation. Skeptics argue that these shapes may be a result of human pattern recognition, a phenomenon called pareidolia, but the consistency and recurrence of these shapes in multiple lunar images suggest that there may be more than mere coincidence at play. If these formations are artificial, they raise profound questions about who might have created them, when, and why. Some theorists have posited that an ancient advanced civilization could have traveled to or from Earth, using the Moon as a base. Others suggest that extraterrestrial visitors might have left behind artifacts, using the Moon as a stable observation post from which to study Earth. While these ideas remain speculative, they are nonetheless fascinating, especially in light of recent scientific interest in extraterrestrial life and space exploration. Several former NASA employees, contractors, and individuals associated with lunar missions have come forward with accounts of strange anomalies they claim to have seen in photographs and data from the Moon. These insiders allege that images captured by the Apollo missions, as well as later lunar probes, contained evidence of unusual structures and features that defied easy explanation. Their testimonies, often shared in interviews, documentaries, and at conferences, have only deepened the intrigue surrounding the mysterious formations on the Moon. One of the most well-known voices on this subject is Ken Johnston, a former NASA contractor who worked as the Data and Photo Control Department manager for the Apollo missions. Johnston claims to have seen photographs that show structures on the Moon, including what he described as domes, towers, and other artificial-looking formations. According to Johnston, NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory initially kept high-resolution images of these formations, but allegedly instructed him to destroy some of the negatives. Johnston claims he refused, and he later revealed that he had held onto a set of prints showing these anomalies. Though NASA denies Johnston's allegations, his account has fueled speculation and raised questions about the potential suppression of information related to lunar findings. Johnston isn't alone in his assertions. Donna Hare, a former NASA photographic technician and space illustrator, also made claims about anomalies on the Moon. Hare stated in an interview that she was once told by a colleague about airbrushing efforts within NASA. According to her, technicians were allegedly instructed to edit out certain structures from lunar photographs before the images were made public. Hare claims that she was shown photos featuring what appeared to be artificial-looking structures on the lunar surface. She has described seeing straight edges, domes, and even images that hinted at vehicle tracks on the Moon, all of which seemed inconsistent with natural lunar formations. Though her accounts remain unverified, they align with the experiences reported by others who have worked closely with lunar imagery. There are additional accounts from military personnel who allege that NASA and the US government have intentionally concealed evidence of lunar anomalies. Carl Wolf, an Air Force technician who worked on photographic surveillance systems during the 1960s, claims to have seen photographs of structures on the far side of the Moon. Wolf stated that he was in a darkroom at an NSA facility when he noticed a technician working on a series of high-resolution images of the lunar surface. According to Wolf, these images showed large, artificial-looking structures that appeared to be arranged in an organized pattern. Though Wolf's claims are difficult to substantiate, his story aligns with accounts from others who suggest that certain areas of the Moon may contain evidence of non-natural formations. These accounts, while anecdotal, have led to public scrutiny and interest in the concept of lunar anomalies. Supporters of these theories argue that the Moon, being a stable, atmosphere-free environment, would be an ideal place for any civilization, human or otherwise, to establish long-lasting structures. Structures on the Moon would remain largely intact over millions of years due to the lack of weathering forces like wind and water. According to this line of thought, if structures were built on the Moon eons ago, they might still be standing, preserved by the unique conditions of the lunar environment. The idea that certain images might have been edited or withheld from the public also gains some credibility when considering NASA's handling of lunar imagery in the early days of space exploration. Photographs and films from the Apollo missions were processed and developed by a limited number of staff members and contractors, making it easier to withhold certain materials from public view. For example, some high-resolution images were stored in secure facilities with restricted access, and only select photos were released to the general public. Additionally, in the 1970s, NASA admitted to enhancing some lunar images to bring out details for research purposes, though they deny any intentional deletion of anomalies.